that. Sorry, I thought he might keep his up 2 seconds longer. That looked like Mr. T. But there's at least one lion. There's a few more to the right here. There's potentially 5 lions in this grass just there, in that space. Virtually impossible to see anything. And of course the benefit of their camouflage, especially in winter time. Let's go a bit forward. In winter time, when food tends to be a little bit scarce, something maybe a little perfectly camouflaged. Let's just see. Very, very relaxed. Just going to quietly step on them here. Yeah, the others aren't even moving, so we're not disturbing them. 1, 2, 3, 4. One still unaccounted. Again, just showing you the amazing habituation of these cats. I mean, they are as wild as lions get. I think even in the lion world, other lions will call them wild. They don't mind us, as long as you move. And one, you can even see him, Alex. Very, very tricky to see, maybe through the twigs there. Very, very hard to see him. Let me try and move a bit. He's the only one with his head up at the moment, so. Well, interesting view of a lion. That's quite often the first thing you'll see when you hear a low growl. If you're walking through the bush and you suddenly come across them, they do really blend into the grass. We'll try and get a good view for you. Now I'm still in the process of getting to know these lions from a behavioral point of view, but more importantly just the individual features and the way they look. Hopefully later, we'll come back here a little bit later when they maybe get active. Of his mane, I'd say that male, that's again, we haven't named him yet, but I'm playing with the name Leonidas. Very, very beautiful male. But him and Shaka, that male that I really liked the very first time we saw him, quite similar, so we have to really see them standing up. Look at that face. Oh! Well, this is encouraging behavior. I was going to say we'll probably move on and come back here again in half an hour or so just to see if they show more signs of activity. But these other 4 are still very much asleep, but the fact that this guy is busy grooming himself a little bit. His paw here. Of course. Just looked quite funny. It had the paw right up, sticking out above the grass. I just thought we can have a nice close look at it, but the lion changed his mind. There's one's ear. Interestingly enough, you'll see that ear is just turned slightly our way. Right about there somewhere. Tiny little guy. Don't know if you can make it out. There we go. venture which one exactly it is. Not the variegated, but the skink also sitting around, also playing his part in our world and in nature. They're not quite as impressive or as eye-catching as these lions, but nonetheless. Let's have one last, or not last look, but one quick look at the lions. Go for a bit of a drive. And to see if we maybe find something more in those leopard tracks we had this morning, not far from Yanchita cut line. Also just move a little bit. We'll come back here again in 20 minutes, half an hour. These lions aren't going anywhere soon, so maybe we get slightly more activity from them. Let's look up. Perfect color. One of the many ways to recognize this bird. It's probably one of the easier raptors to recognize once they mature. They're just so beautiful. Obviously that black head and the bright sort of red-orange beak and mouth, or beak and cere. But also if you look at the silhouette of the outline of that bird at the moment, look at the wings just below that branch where it's sitting. You can see it's just the wings coming past. You don't actually see a tail part. With all your other eagles you will normally note level with the tip of the wings, or normally even longer. Battalier, of course, is also known as a short-tailed snake eagle. And this looks like a female, just from looking at the wings. It's a bit difficult from the front view, but the males have got a broad band on the wing as well when they're sitting like that, like a darker band. Male is a little bit lower. There's colors or patterns are more dark, sort of like steel black almost on its wings. There you go. You see just a slight breeze out here this afternoon, not really a wind at all, just a, you can see the feathers getting ruffled every now and again. Must go have a look in a reptile book, or if any of you out there are keen on reptiles, nice to know exactly what species this one is. We see them around quite often, and at some stage I didn't know the name, but be nice to check. Awesome camouflage there, look at that. Even the legs almost blend in with the surroundings. Tiny little lizard, probably in total about inch and a half long, maybe slightly longer with the tail tip included. Cool. Just move a little bit. Sorry, it's actually quite funny. They suddenly they just all sort of saw us. I was saying they're gone, but literally as I came around this corner, I had a moment similar to these lions when they suddenly saw me, where I just saw grass in there. Also the same from that one lion that we saw just now, his head up before he plonked back down. He just moved very close to the road. And to get around him is quite tricky. This morning it took us a while through the bush. So I'm going to prolong the expense a little bit. The expense. Make that suspense. And just drive around to the other side of the road where we wanted. It would be about a 5-minute drive all the way around.